Have some fun unboxing this version 2 F-16. Hope y'all are all having a fun week. Maybe you get some flying in after work or whatever's going on right now. But hey, we're here to hang out with you for about the next hour, get this airplane put together, and have us a good time. As always, Miss Lori is monitoring the comments. If y'all have any questions that she can shoot a link to or anything, she'll definitely do that today. And if you have any questions for me, she'll be sure to let me know. But yeah, we're just going to have some fun tonight. So, version 2 F-16, I have the version 1 over here also. I've had a lot of fun with the version 1 actually in the past. I'm sure you've seen the videos of it. It was one of the most fun 64mm airplanes in our lineup. Although, I really did enjoy the Panther this week also, which maybe y'all caught that little live. Anyway, let's start getting into the box of the version 2 F-16 and get to putting this together. Super easy assembly tonight, and I figured no better way to spend a Wednesday evening. We have been just live here the last few days. I think this is 5 lives in a row between me and James. We have been having a blast. So, getting into the box, we have our replacement hinges if you ever need them. I actually have never broken a hinge off one of my planes and needed one of these, but it does always come with them if you need one. We also get our user manual and our warranty. You have 30-day warranty whenever you get anything out of the box from us to make sure there's no damage to it after you receive it. Toss that off to the side for just a second. And we will start getting into this. So yeah, I hope everybody's having a great evening, hanging out. We did it a little later today. I know guys really enjoyed that last time we did it. Because it gets some of you in that don't get to do it as often with us when we do them at 12 o'clock. And it's also good for some of our EU customers because they get to come play along with us. How's everything going down in the chat tonight? It looks like it's going crazy.
Everybody's saying hi, good evening, hello.
Why, hi, hello, good evening, everyone. I got a come get 'em wire that's taped right here in the top. We're going to get that off to the side. And keep my trash going into the pile over here in the corner. It's been kind of rainy this week, but I did get a chance to get out and fly on Monday. And that was a lot of fun. That's when we did that Panther video earlier in the week. Flew a couple models that day. It was a good time. Got to go hang out with old Jerry. Lori snuck the camera out while I was mowing the field. It was hilarious. First item.
Jerry, you sent it to me.
Oh. First item coming out of the box is going to be one of our wings. As you can see, everything comes out of the box in these plastic bags, just like all our models, to help protect them in shipping. So if you got a pair of scissors handy, they shall help. Colton, welcome in, sir. Good to see you. Mike Bird, as always, he doesn't miss a show ever.
He says it's 10 p.m. in Great Britain right now.
10 p.m. in Great Britain. There you go.
We got Paul McNeil.
Give you a shot of that as we're getting some roll call. Paul McNeil. McNeil. I said that wrong. Sorry about that.
Stephen Dean.
Stephen Dean, what's going on, man?
RC Pilot H.
RC Pilot H.
Earl Buddy Allen.
Earl Buddy Allen. I cannot talk today. Blah, 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 blah. Next piece coming out of the box is going to be our wing. First thing we have to do, like I said, is get all this stuff out of the box tonight, guys. So we're going to hang out, have a good time. Earlier this week, we did put out the polished build video of this airplane from James. He also has one of these. And so if you're wanting, you know, the quick down and dirty assembly, we have that also. You know, tonight is more of a hangout with all of you and checking this airplane out live. One thing I can already tell that's a change from version 1 is our ailerons have ball link clevises now, which is very nice. And like I said, as we get this one put together, I have the original version 2 so we can compare them. This one does still have the reversing ESC and that powerful motor like you saw earlier in the week on the Panther. which really makes this thing awesome. This thing almost has one-to-one thrust. You can take off and pretty much go straight vertical with it. It's nuts. A very, very fun airplane. I flew the version 1 on wheels and hand launch also. I really prefer it hand launch. Gets a little more weight out of the airplane. It really makes that thing peppy. There's our rudder, or vertical stabilizer, whichever one you'd like to call it. It does have a servo in the rudder, so you do have rudder control. Lori is letting me know we have a question.
You're wanted in Bradenton for mowing.
And wanted in Bradenton. I'm guessing that's from Alan.
Yeah.
What's going on tonight, Alan? I need to get on the mowing team down there.
You look too natural on that thing.
That's right. All right, next big piece coming out of the box is going to be our fuselage. Just making sure I don't damage it, make sure I got all the stuff out of the way. This is a pretty fun airplane, guys. Yeah, actually, so mine has a kind of a ding on it. If you ever watched the video when I went down to see Cletus the first time, that's actually the airplane that we flew through the Snake Hole Gap. And if you haven't ever checked that out, definitely check out old Cletus McFarland's YouTube channel. He's done a lot of stuff with us lately. Had a lot of fun with those guys. What's up, Lori?
Well, while you've got the fuse there, how many blades are on that EDF?
How many blades are on the EDF? 1, 2, 3, I believe this is 12.
Website says 12.
Yep, 12 bladed EDF. Give you a look up there.
That's coming from Cristiano and Poland.
Yeah, 12 bladed EDF, 4S model right out of the box. I will say I've had one of the version 2s already. I've been playing with it, but I got this one to unbox. One thing I did on mine is I did need to move the battery strap. You can see there it's on a plywood tray, so you can move it backwards and forwards. And I did move mine up one section to hit CG. There are CG marks already embossed into the wing, and I will tell you it flies really good on the CG marks that come right on the wing on this model. It can do some crazy high alpha and all the good stuff. Now, the other big change on the version 2, as you can see, we now have 4 servos instead of 2. The old version, which I have here, let me pick it up real quick.
Here,
I got it, it's just right here, I got it. So the old version, oh here you go, Lori's going to hold it up. As you can see, the old version had 2 servos, one here and one here, and then it linked to the ailerons and the elevator, and you ran a flaperon mix, whereas the new version, you have ailerons and elevators separately, so it flies more traditionally like you're used to. There you go, there's a first change right off of it. Ta-da! So there you go, there's one of the first big changes from the 2 versions. And let me get our elevators out of the box now. No, a 4,000 is going to be too big in this. I think the biggest one recommended is a 3,000. Well, 2,200 is what I've flown mine on every time. I didn't know if it recommended a range. That's what I'm saying. I would think you could fit a 3,000 in this, but a 4,000 is going to be too big, honestly. I have one around here. We could try and stick it in there, but I don't think you'd be able to hit the CG with it. Actually, I don't know if I have a 4,000. I don't think so. Lori's taking a look real quick to see if I have a 4,000 on hand. Like I said, the recommended battery, though, is the 2200 4S. You get roughly 4 minutes of flight on it, and it's very peppy on that. So I would really recommend sticking with that battery size. Anything bigger, it starts to get a little heavier, and you lose some of that punch out and real fun about this airplane. It does have foam hinges. There you go, these are foam hinges. And we can go on and just kind of move them a little bit to go on and get them broke in. There's a channel right here on your elevator halves, and carbon spars come with it. I hadn't got them out of the box yet, and we're going to glue those in after we get the model assembled a little bit further. Yes, Lori?
Hand launch capability.
Yes, you can definitely hand launch this. You can almost hand launch this straight vertically. It has that much power on this. I believe we have videos of the version 1 doing the hand launches. This one will handle it no issues. One thing I would tell you, if you're going to hand launch it, I leave mine on my version 1, but these little guys right here just unscrew if you're worried about damaging them when you're hand launching it. You can see them down there, the ventral fins. It's just 2 screws to take these off, and the plane flies absolutely fine without them. But if you're going to do a lot of hand launching, the other thing I would tell you to do is pop the pitot tube out. The new version has the same pitot tube on it, just to keep from having something that's going to stick in the ground whenever it sets like this when you land. I fly mine with the ventral fins, but I know a lot of guys take them off when they're hand launching. And it's just a little more weight off the airplane. Alright. Next, we've got our missile rails. So there's our missile rails. There's the other one. These do have a spar built into them to keep them from getting damaged if you accidentally bonk them into stuff, which we know happens. Let's see, we've got our wheels. And I do like how the wheels are designed on this. They're real slick to be able to snap in and out real easy. I mean, it's literally as simple as taking them and they literally just clip in like this when you're trying to hand launch them. And you just take and push them down like that. And that's as easy as putting the wheels on and off are. You can take them right back off that easy too. So if you are hand launching, it's super easy to change them at the field between the hand launch and the regular. Grab the nose wheel. There's our little nose wheel, and this one has just got a flat spot on the front of it, and it actually goes in. You can see right there inside of this intake, there's a little metal thing. This goes up through there and into it, and then you just have a 2mm Allen screw to tighten it up and loosen it off. So once again, super easy to take it on and off. But it's nice that it comes with the gear out of the box for customers that want to use it. There is our smoked canopy. Very nice. We have all our control horns and control rods, and our carbon spars, and our tube of glue. Definitely keep your tube of glue. You're not going to use the whole thing to put this airplane together. I keep this stuff. I mean, I've got boxes of it over here from all the airplanes. And I never have to buy glue again because I keep all these little white tube glues. And man, they're great for foam airplanes and doing repairs at the field, so definitely keep a hold of that. You got some screws, a Y harness, and I have already been asked a few times. I know our customer service guys have answered this for a couple customers. The ailerons are on a Y lead. So if you want to split your ailerons and do flapperons, you definitely can do that on this model. As it comes out of the box, the Y harness is already ran back to the wings though. So you just have to get in there and put an extension on both of them. But it is an option for guys that want to do that. Let's see, I think I got everything out of the box. Quick double check before I set it off to the side. And the other thing I always do when we're putting together one of these 64mm airplanes is I get my carpet out. If y'all haven't been here for one of our past live shows, what I do is I go to like Home Depot or Lowe's and I get a little section of this outdoor carpeting, and the same section I've been using it for 2 or 3 years to build on. And what that does is keep you from damaging your airplane while you're working on it, and you don't damage your wife's kitchen table if you don't have a hobby shop to work in like we do. You roll this piece of carpet out over the table just like that, and now when you build, you don't damage your airplane and you don't damage your table or drip glue on it. So I highly recommend everybody does that. These smaller airplanes, they don't really fit in a stand that great to put together. I think this one actually does fit a stand, but we're probably not going to use it tonight because I just find this easier. For guys that want to know, this is our Ernst Ultra Stand. We have these available here at Motion RC. This one does fit in the stand just fine, but I probably won't use it tonight just because, like I said, these 64mm planes, just a little bit easier to do them right here on the table like this. So let's grab our manual and let's get started on our assembly. Like I said, if you got any questions, let us know. Lori's monitoring them. I will try and answer them as we go. I'll give you the motor real quick. It is a 2840, 2850 kV Outrunner motor in this airplane. I believe that is the exact same motor that's in the original one, but it is the newer, hotter motor for our 64mm lines. This has the 40 amp reversing ESC, which we are putting in most of the 64mm as they've been getting redone. Like I said, the Panther comes with it now. This comes with it. F-22 comes with the reversing ESC now. And it's as simple as plugging that reverse wire, which is this one right here, into any open channel and assigning it to a 2-position switch. On Futaba I use that back momentary switch, and on Spectrum I've been using the bind button as my reversing switch. The reason I do that is if you accidentally were to hit it in flight, as soon as you let go of it, you go back to forward. Because when you hit reverse at full throttle on these things, they just stop in the air and fall out of the air. And it's not a very fun experience. So you want to have that to where you can turn it off instantly and not accidentally have it on the whole time. It makes it a fun ride. Another thing real quick that guys always want to know is battery connection. It is an XT60 on this model. So yeah. Alright, so if there are no other questions right now, we will start gluing. What we're going to do first is veer away from the instructions a little bit. It says to put the main wings on first. I always put the tail on first. I just feel like it's easier to manipulate the airplane without the wings on it. So I always put the tail together first. So instead of starting on page 3, we're going to start on page 4. Get our 2 pieces. And nice thing is the actual part that keys in is not painted on this. So you're going to get a really good glue joint. Now the one thing I would tell you is make sure you put your elevators on the wrong way. If you key it in upside down, it'll still go in there. It'll just look goofy. So just make sure, as you can see, it'll go in, but they should be facing down though. So let's flip that over. Your control horns should be facing down also. Now before we glue anything, we always test fit and make sure it's going to fit before we put our glue on. This is the same thing I would tell you to do as we do it live here. So I'm going to take that, just test fit everything, and as you can see they fit really nicely. They keyed right in, and you can see that downward angle of attack, or it's not an angle of attack, that would be called dihedral, or it'd be anhedral since it's down. But yeah, anyway, as you can see they fit really nicely though. And before we get to gluing, I'm going to go on and grab one of my already open tubes of glue, as I have many of them. Let's see, that one's not open yet. Instead of opening another one of these guys, there's one that's already opened. Alright, left it open, can you see it? Alright, now let's go on and get our elevator halves put in. It's as simple as taking, like I said, it's bare foam, and it's bare foam on the inside, so we don't have to worry about scratching these pieces up. But let's go on and take a little bit of our white tube glue. Oh, there you go. Lori's going to even run the zoomer right now. I'm going to stay right in here, so it's easy for you, Miss Lori. And I'm going to take and just smear that around real good on all this. Just like so. This type of glue, you need to let a little air get to it. It'll help it really get tacky real quick. The next thing we're going to do after that kind of tackies up a little bit is we're going to slide it in. And then we're going to slide it back out. Oh yeah, it's already getting sticky. And what I like to do is just kind of slide it in, slide it out a few times, and that gets that glue real tacky. Now, it'll set up pretty quick. There we go, push that in. Just like that, one side is glued on. I'll do this side this way so y'all can see it better. So I'm going to slide that back out. Take and put a little glue. Don't go too crazy because it will smush out. if you get too much on here, and you're going to have glue everywhere. And it's not fun when you get this glue all over your model. I find it's better to just kind of leave the little bit that squeezes out than try and wipe it off, because then I end up always just making a bigger mess than if I just left it alone. So we're going to take that now. We're going to work all that glue in. And now we're going to take it back out. We're going to let that set for a few seconds. We're going to slide her in. Alright. Get a nice firm glue job on both sides. And this stuff will tack up within the next 30 minutes. This will be hard enough to where we're not going to have to worry about it. So that gets our 2 elevator halves on, super easy. I'm going to put the rods in after we get done with this part. That way I don't have to worry about accidentally knocking the rods out while it's drying. Alright, next is going to be to put our rudder on. Like I said, there are 2 carbon spars. We're going to come back to those though in a few minutes. If I was building this without doing the live, I would go on and put the carbon spars in, turn it over and let it set for about 30 minutes. That way I wouldn't have to worry about them getting loose once they're all the way glued up. But being that we're live, we're going to build it a little out of order. Won't hurt anything if you build it the same way I am, as long as you make sure you put them in there. I'm going to take and get my rudder ready now. There we go. As with all other airplanes, nothing should ever have to be forced while you're putting this stuff together. Take your time. Enjoy your evening as you put your new model together. Alright, and then the come get 'em wire takes it from here up to the front. So now we're going to take our come get 'em wire, which your model comes with. Don't throw these away. These are always so useful. I run into all kinds of projects all the time where I need them, so I always keep them. We're going to take the come get 'em wire. There's one hole right here in the back, and we're going to ever so slightly run that up to the front of the model. And there it is. I can now grab it up here. Now we're going to take our rudder lead. I like to just kind of loop it around one of the wires, like so. And we're going to just take our time pulling this from the front to the back. Sometimes in this tight space they go right through. Sometimes you got to kind of wiggle them and just get them just right. So here we go. We're going to try it now. Said, don't force anything. Take your time, and they will go through. There it goes. Like I said, don't pull too hard. We don't want to pull any of the wires out of our servo lead as we do this. Alright, got it up to the front. Now let's go on and test fit this. Should key in and go down, and it does. And here's our lead up at the front now. Said that wire comes in really useful. Keep this thing, even on big balsa airplanes. And when I need to get a servo wire from out on the wing up into the airplane, I can take this, push it down in there, pull it right out. These are very handy. I have some that I've bent straight. I have some that I've bent curved. I keep them for all kinds of stuff now. Anyway, so we've got our rudder on. We want to make sure everything seats good now before we put any glue on the model, and it does. It seats all the way flat. And now we need to just glue the rudder on. Super easy. I don't know if you wanted to try and zoom this part or not, but I'm gluing. Nothing too crazy here. So I'm going to take and just smear this glue real good down in this channel. It shouldn't be able to bubble up, so I'm going to put it on a little thicker in here. That way we know we get a good smearing of the glue all around here. And as you can see, it is also bare foam already out of the box on the bottom of the rudder, so our glue joints are going to be bare foam to bare foam, which is always better than if it was painted. Alright, now, same as before, I'm going to get rid of all my little stringies so I don't get them on the airplane. And we're going to take and just set that down ever so gently in there now. Smoosh it in real good. We're going to pull it back out. You can see it's starting to get stringy already. We're going to take and put it in again. Oh yeah. Do this a couple times till we feel it start getting tacky. Oh yeah, there it's starting to go. I don't know if you can see the little stringies right now, but yeah. Careful with your stringies not to be lifting too high either, or else you start getting stringies all over your airplane. Yeah, oh there it goes. Now it's starting to tack up. Okay, so now we're going to go and push all that in. Real good and tight, just like so. And let me check on our elevator halves. Oh yeah, these are already starting to firm up. Like I said, this glue works pretty quick. You have enough working time for about 10 minutes of working time. But man, it's good stuff. Once it sets off, that stuff is there forever. Now what I'm going to do real quick is go on and put my canopy on. Stay out of the way for a second while we do our wings. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. There are no servo leads. I was looking for the servo leads. They're already in the airplane for you. Nice. So on our wings, same thing as before. As you can see, the bare foam is already done for you. So they take this off at the factory to keep it bare, so you don't have to worry about trying to clean that off. Your carbon spar is also built into the wing, so you don't have to worry about forgetting this step. And there is a receiving point on the airplane right there, as you can see. Now, it is bare foam inside the channel where our glue is actually going to go, so we don't have to worry about that either. So I know a lot of guys would want me to sand this off. No reason to. I'm not going to put glue on this surface. The reason I'm not going to put glue in between here is when we push that piece into it, if we have glue here, it's going to squish up all on top of the airplane and look terrible. So what I tell you to do is the same way I'm going to do it is, just make sure that was tight. I'm going to only put glue on this white section here and at the back on both sides. And when we key that in, it's going to really squish that in there and be a really tight bond. And some of it's going to squish out already and go around this outside part and get it really tight. So same thing as before now. We're going to make sure our wings fit first before we glue. If we need to do any kind of trimming or anything we can. You shouldn't need to, but I always, always, always recommend people test fit first. And yes, that fit right in there, no issue. Let me grab the other one. They're a little tight the first time you put them in, and that's why we're doing it now and not while we have glue all over them. And there you go, they went right in. Remember, you should never have to force anything on any of our models. I'm going to grab a little drink of water for just a second though, dry throat action. Alright, so now we can pop our wing back off that we wish to glue. I'm going to put some glue on the spar itself that's going to slide in. It's just another spot that's going to make it nice and tight and be able to be very secure. We don't want our wings coming off. I'll tell you, one of my favorite things to do with this is a full throttle pass and then pull full up elevator. It's one of the few planes that won't wash out one direction or another, but it makes the coolest like slide through maneuver with this plane. Anyway, I know it probably has an actual term like a cobra or something, but I don't know. Alright, and I'm going to glue both sides of this. I always just kind of slide it around in a circular pattern, like so. Alright, get our glue. As you can see, I've got the glue kind of smeared all over everything now. And the wings are keyed to where you can't get them upside down in better news, unless you really pushed. Alright, now we're going to take and slide our half in. Got it all the way in. Now we're going to slide it back out. Let a little air get to that. Make sure it looks like it's really getting smashed around in there good. And it is. Oh yeah. And it'll start tacking up. Oh yeah, it's really tacking up now. Perfect. Push that all the way in. And that's a great glue joint now. Now we got to do the other side, same thing. Any other comments right now? Questions, concerns?
Nope.
Hey Wes, you're doing a good job. I flew a nice airplane this weekend.
Everybody's just watching along.
We could open a can of worms. What's the next airplane you want to see come out? Everybody will be like, ah!
It starts crazy with that.
Always. It's more fun that way.
Oh yeah.
If you only knew. Maybe we're looking at one. You never know. Same thing as before. I'm going to slide that in. Slide it back out. We're going to let some air get to that glue. Good news is our elevators have pretty much firmed up for the next part. We're going to flip this over and put our spars into the elevators. And I may use just a drop of CA to go on and hold them in while the other glue sets up. Oh yeah. Oh man.
Oh, here's a question.
That stuff is setting up fast tonight. It's very humid here in Florida right now. Okay, so we have a question.
Would this plane be newbie friendly?
Would it be newbie friendly? This plane would be newbie friendly if you already have your feet wet with something else. I would not start with this airplane as your very first airplane. We have some great models under our beginner section in the Skynetic line, like the Huntsman, and I forgot the other one's name. It looks just like the Huntsman, but it's bigger and it's yellow. Those would be good first airplanes, but somebody that's already got the learning experience out of the way of kind of learning up, down, left, right, keeping your orientation. You've been flying a trainer, you're doing really good at it, and you want to dip your toes into jets, I would say yes. The F-16, there's a reason that these are very popular airplanes and we make them for every size, is it's a great flying model. The 64mm is inexpensive enough to where you're not going to just be crying really bad if you do have an accident with this one. And the good news about foam, I mean, my old version still has some damage to it, but anytime I've had something oops with it, you just massage the foam, put a little glue on it, and keep flying, you know, and have a good time. So the way I would say it is this is a good third, fourth airplane. Yes, if you're trying to transition into jets from your trainers, this would be a good one to start with from there. But I wouldn't say it's a good first airplane at all. Hopefully that answers your question. That what's that wing thing called? That'd be another good first. You could do that as an EDF first airplane. The Neptune. I don't have it with me right now. I actually have it outside. I just finished doing the build on that a few weeks ago live on Facebook. But you might check out the Skynetic Neptune. And that airplane is just a big flying wing with an EDF on it, which would be fine for your first one, because flying wings are always super easy to fly. So anyway, that gets all of that put on. Now what we need to do is put our carbon spars into the wing at this point, which we can easily do. We're almost done assembling already.
Quick question, I don't know if how good is the Tomcat to have a fly?
How good is the Tomcat to have who fly?
To have and fly.
Oh, the Tomcat's awesome. The big one? Yeah. We actually have videos of me flying the Tomcat. A few weeks back, I put a couple flights on it now. We took it down to the Cletus boys last time I was down there. Had a lot of fun with it. With the wings out, it's actually a pretty easy airplane to fly. It, just seeing what I was doing. It, with the wings out, it flies pretty stable though. It's a heavier airplane is the only issue. So, you know, you don't want to overload it in any G maneuvers because you kind of will do a washout kind of deal. So what we're going to do now is put these carbon spars down in these holes. What I'm going to do is just run a bead of glue on the spar itself on both sides. A very thin bead of glue. I'm going to leave my little finger spot in the middle here to where I can get to it. Alright, here we go. We're going in. Yeah, there's a big stringy there. And we're going to go on and key that down in there. Ever so slightly. And what I'm going to do, since we are trying to get this done quickly, is I'm going to take a drop of thin CA and just put it right here in the middle to help hold it in the meantime. It should dry pretty darn quick. And I'm going to just get me a little screwdriver, put it up against it and hold it for a second while that CA sets off. Like so. There we go. And that'll hold that spar in while it dries, while we're manipulating the model all over the place here in a minute. And now I'm going to get the other side. Once again, I can't recommend enough that you get one of these stands if you don't have it. These Ernst Ultra stands, and then I have the Mega stand down here too, which is for bigger airplanes. Man, I couldn't imagine building airplanes without one of these, or one of our Benchcraft foam stands. Yeah, this is the big version for bigger airplanes. Really makes your life easier, as you can see right now, to have my airplane up like this. Alright, so we're going to do the other spar now, super easy. Like I said before, we're going to take and put a nice thin bead of glue on the spar, both sides of my fingers, so I have somewhere to work. And then we're going to CA it in the rest of the way. Alright. And we'll slide that in there, like so. Work it all the way down. Put my little tube of glue's cap back on. Stringy. Take a little drop of CA right there in the middle again. Doesn't take much, just a little drop, just to hold what we're doing. Once that white tube glue sets off, that stuff will be really, really stuck. But like I said, this will just hold this while we're doing what we're doing. Keep them from falling out. Alright. A little stringy. Now, I can already tell you one of the changes I see, if I remember correctly. Let me grab a version 1 real quick. And yes, okay, so Lori, this is something we could probably zoom in for a second. So we're comparing the two versions right now. One thing I can tell you, looking right at the elevator, let's see if I hold this right here, I think you'll see it. Right here. So one of the changes from version 1 to version 2, the old version had these clip style control horns, as you can see, the little white clips, whereas version 2 has ball link clevises. So just a little more security, and a lot of guys like those ball links, so that was one of the other changes right off the bat. You also lost, on the old version, you had these little things that went all the way up to the front because they were tied together up here. As you can see, they were tied together, and now you have actual servos back here in the tail, so you're going to have a linkage from here to your elevator. So there's you a change in the model. As far as the bottom goes, I don't see any changes to the bottom. There you go. Alright, we need to get our missile rails glued on real quick. And I suppose while we're down here and it's all set up on the table, let's go on and put our little ventral fins on. Might as well. And in the package you get 4 screws and a, I forgot what they're called, a grub screw. There we go. It's going to get there eventually. The grub screw is for the nose wheel to be held in place with. So I'm going to dump out my 4 screws here and put on our ventral fin. Grab my Benchcraft screwdriver. Really like this set right here, by the way. If you're looking for a good screwdriver set, this one and where's the other one at? I don't even know where it is. It's on the wall somewhere. I have the multi-tool one too, and I really like that. But this one has some really good tips on it, and it's just been a really good screwdriver. As you can see, it's magnetic. Everything stays on the end of it. Very handy. The taller point of your ventral fin goes towards the front, right? Yes, I think. That's right.
Yes.
Okay, haha. And so let's get these put on real quick. Super easy. Just 4 screws. There we go. And now let's get the other one put on. And while we're down here, we might pop the landing gear on too. Super easy to put them on. What did I do with my other one? Oh, my multi-tool. There's one in that box right over there if you want to grab it. I always keep one in my flight box. I thought I had it in here. Oh, here it is. I found it. Ah! I want that for the grub screws. That one always fits so good. Everybody chatting away down in the comment section with each other, having a good time tonight.
Yeah, I'm really quiet, actually.
You're quiet. Did this late for you guys.
You girl asleep?
I'm going to go on and put the landing gear in now. We just take and key those in. Super easy. And we're going to give it a nice firm push until we hear a clip, like that. And then the other side. And that is as easy as putting the mains on is. And then we want to take our nose steering wheel and we want to make sure our flat is facing towards the front. We're going to drop that down from the top. Set that in there. And then we have our grub screw that already comes with a Loctite on it. We're going to get that out. And we're going to get our 2mm head for our, I believe it's this one. Make sure before I put it all together. Yep. Cool. So we can put our grub screw in the end of it. I said that Benchcraft one really fits these grub screws great. If you ever have to repair a retract and you've had one of these that doesn't fit good, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's so nice to have a tool that actually fits those grub screws correctly so they don't strip out. We're going to tighten that little guy up. Like I said, that just goes right in from the front intake to hit that nose wheel. Super easy. There it is, tightening it up. Not over tighten it. It's got Loctite on it. There we go, we got our wheels on. Like I said before, the pitot tube just slides in. I fly it around without gluing this. That way, if I want to do belly landings, I just pop that off. Alright, so that gets the airplane almost done building or assembling. Now we need to get, I'm going to wait to put my missile rails on until we're done putting our control horns on. Now at this point what I'd like to do is put my receiver into the airplane. That way we can make sure all our servos are centered. And the reason we waited until now is when we power up that receiver, all our servos are going to automatically go to their centered position. And if we need to move any of the arms, it'll be really easy to do it right then. So let's move everything out. And we need to grab our rudder wire that we put in there from the front, or from the back, and then the rudder wire that's coming from the nose steering wheel, and it comes with a Y harness. Yellow to yellow is the way you're going to go the colors, and then the front one is a reverse servo, so it's a white lead, and so you're going to go white to yellow on that one. Hopefully that made sense. White is always a signal color, and yellow are always your signal color. The only thing that runs different is Spectrum has an orange one for some reason. I don't know why they did that on theirs, but just so you know, if you're ever hooking up servos, white and yellow are the ones that always have to match up. Just hand me the 8. The front one. It'll turn on super easy. I just need it just to turn this on for a second. I'm just going to grab a lemon receiver real quick. I got one right here behind me. Hook everything up real fast. And oh, yeah, that explains it. That's Dave's box. Mine's over there. I have other friends' stuff here right now. We can put it on his too, I guess. Ailerons. So just plug this in real quick. I'm not going to secure it because I'm going to end up using one of my Futaba receivers in here. Putting this on my Futaba radio. But I'm waiting on my shipment of Futaba receivers to come in right now because I ran out of them. Go through a lot of receivers around here. Elevator. Rudder. And once again, I'm going to take my reverse and I'm going to put it in my gear channel. I have a 6-channel receiver here. So what I'm going to do is take that reverse and plug it into the gear channel. Oh, I need a bind plug. Let me grab one. They're right over there. They're hanging up. Thank you. All right. And I happen to already have one of these set up in here. Aha. So it should be as simple as just binding it to it. Oh, can you give me a 2200 4S down there? That drawer that's already open right there? Throw a battery in it real quick and we'll bind to it. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would recommend also adding a little piece of shelf liner in here, and we can do that momentarily also to show you that. Alright, so we are ready to power up the model for the first time. We're going to go to our home screen, get ready to bind. Power on, receiver is blinking. We're going to bind to the model. Yes. There we go. It's bound, so now we can pull our bind plug out. We'll just tuck this guy in here for now so he's out of the way. Alright, now we can do a quick control check. Rudder, and so you can see it, rudder, and our steering servo is working correctly. Elevator, I can hear it. They're not going to move yet because we haven't hooked them up. Ailerons, they are working also. Throttle, and it's going the right direction. And I have mine set up on the bind button, so when I hit the other way, reverse comes on as it should. Perfect. So everything is working as it should right out of the box. We're going to leave the battery in for now, and we're going to turn the model over so we can put our control horns on now. We'll flip it over, grab our stand again. Go. Now that the model's upside down, we can verify all the servos are working. So elevator, and they're both working, and ailerons. Yep, they're both working. We can also now verify that they are centered right out of the box. Lori, if you could zoom in right here, we're going to put this control horn on, and I want to talk to them about what I'm talking about. You know, if you've done this before, you understand this, but what we're checking for right now is that they're actually centered. And what I mean by centered is you want them 90 degrees out. So you can see that one is perfectly 90 degrees out. If you were to fire it up and it be over here, what you would do is just take that screw out, pop the horn up, and then move it to where it's actually in the middle. Like I said, they all came out of the box centered already. They should for you also, but if for some reason they don't, just know that you want it 90 degrees out from your control horn. It's straight out. And like I said, there it is working. We can verify it. At this point, we need to put our control horns on. we're going to check our manual to make sure that we put them in the correct hole. Main wing push rod goes in the outer hull. So the way we do this is we simply take and key that in. They're very tight, but that's okay. Twist it a little bit till it goes down, and then you're going to twist it down like so. Now, what we need to do is set up our ball link to be correct. So if we were to clip that on, as you can see, this aileron is way off. I don't know if you can see it, but it's down. What we need to do now is adjust that aileron to where it's flush. So what we need to do is screw this in a few times. We're going to test it again. Still a little bit off. Can't tell, but it looks blurry from here. I don't know if it is or not. Screw it. A few more tries. There we go. Now it's perfectly centered, and it's as simple as just clipping that on now. Just like that. Now we can give it a quick control throw check. And it's working. Alright, let's work our way back to the back of the model now. Now if I remember right, the elevator on this is supposed to have just a hair bit of up in it. I cannot remember off the top of my head. I swear it did though, on the neutral position. I'm trying to look through the manual as fast as I can, guys. But if I remember right, you actually have a little bit of up in this airplane. I can't find it right now. I will double check that before I actually go fly it. I can't remember. I'm going to just make them level for now. Alright. What holes do I need to use real quick too? Let me see it. I always have to check this too. I do so many airplanes, I always just have to make sure I do them in the right ones. Alright, we use the outer hole. Cool. So same thing as the ailerons, we want to just go into that outer hole, kind of spin that wire as we get it down, and twist it around, just like so. Once again, we want the elevators to be flat. If I were to clip that in right now, I would definitely have some up. I usually take a straight edge of sorts if I'm trying to do this, so I can actually see if it's flat or not, and it is not. Maybe it doesn't use up. Maybe I'm thinking of a different airplane.
Here it is. Here's a picture of it.
Elevator.
I'm sorry, elevator.
It's close enough for now. You get the point. Please set your model up per the manual. I've set a few of these up now, and if you set them up just by the book as far as your rates and everything, they fly fantastic right out of the box. That's how I'm going to set mine up. We are live right now, so you know it's hard for me to read every one of them and look at it exactly. Right now I'm just going to set them up as centered, but follow the book for your setup. We'll make sure they're both even. There we go. And now we're going to do the last control rod. I might have been thinking of a different airplane that had the up in it, Lori. It's okay. It's not a big deal. This one needs to go up just a little bit. A little bit more. There we go. All right.
Currently upgrading from V1 to V2.
So, now the big difference between V1 and V2 is now you have a separate elevator. As you can see, the elevator moves by itself, whereas on the old one, the ailerons would actually move with the elevator. Not very scale, but see, as you can see now, we have elevator and ailerons separate, and you also have a rudder, which is really nice on a 64mm airplane to have that rudder. Now you can see everything is working. We can verify it's correct. Once again, we have the throttle, and if we push our reverse function, it automatically goes into reverse. I don't know if there's a good way to show that or not, but maybe, there you go. You See my little thing? There you go. So you can see the reversing. It's really cool that they added that to all these 64mm models. So next thing to do would be add our rates in. Like I said, this is actually from my previous F-16 setup, so I already had my rates programmed, which is kind of nice. There they all are. Yep. And we can glue our missile rails on now and then CG the model. Like I said before, the CG marks are printed right there on the wing. See right there. And if you'll balance to those CG points, it feels really good right out of there. Let me double check it real quick. On the other one, I had to move the battery bay forward. And yes, gonna have to do it on this one also. So let's just do that real quick with you. Why not? Super simple. Well, I'm not gonna do it. It'd be difficult to do this on camera. But I'll show you what I mean by move that battery bay. So as you can see, it comes with rails built in here that are already pre-drilled. Can you see that? Oh, cool, thank you. And all you got to do is unscrew these 4 screws, and it's already pilot drilled on both sides for when you move it forward. And what I did last time is simply just move it from this hole where it's at up 1. And that made it where my battery strap was still right in the middle of my battery, and my CG hit right on the wing. So just slide that forward 1 is what I would recommend if you're running the same batteries as me. Alright, put this back in here for CG weight so it'll set nice on the table. We's almost done, guys. Now, lastly but not leastly, we need to put our missile rails on. Let's get a little test fit, make sure they're all right. Ooh, let's put that one down, because that one's kind of ugly looking on the top. There we go, that one's a little better. All right. Wait, we put that way. Yes, okay. Once again, we're going to take a little glue, throw it on the floor. Oh, this is the one that's not open yet. No, I got it right here. Just grabbed the wrong one. Take a little bit of our glue, squirt it down in the rail, like so. Hey, get out of here, glue. Like so. Fit it in. Take it off. Let that glue air dry for a second. I got some stringies. Put it on. Same thing for the other side. Go on and get our glue. Mash that all down in there. Put that on. And there is no left or right on these missile rails. They're both the same, so don't worry about putting them on backwards. You can't. Take that back off. Well, you could probably do that. Let's see, will they go on the other way? Yep. It looked pretty funny. Does that look silly? Look at it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. They go this way. They go to the front. There you go. Our missile rails are now on, and our airplane is 100% assembled. Just go around and double check. Everything's nice and tight. Our rudder's stuck. Everything's good. There it is. Did we make it under an hour? I told you I try and build them in under an hour always.
Right at.
Look at that. Right at an hour. That was fun, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed that. A little assembly night. I'm trying to think of what else might be going on this week. I don't know if James is doing another live or not. I am actually getting ready to go on vacation for the next couple days, so you won't be seeing me do any more lives this week. I'm going up to Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts over the weekend. And I'm going to fly airplanes, but I'm going on a vacation. Look at that. I work all day on airplanes, and when I take a vacation, I go to fly airplanes. So going to meet up with some guys from Top Gun. They invited me up to come hang out with them. Papa's almost there. He'll be there tomorrow. He's driving the RV and the boozer wagon up there right now, and we're going to be staying at a private airfield and flying a lot of big airplanes. I'm hoping to maybe get a turbine waiver, maybe. So we'll see. I'm working on that slowly but surely, but I got my jet now, so that's all that matters. Well, if there's no other questions tonight, guys, I think that's it. We got this airplane all assembled. I've enjoyed hanging out with you as always. There were some guys last month that were like, y'all don't do enough lives. We've had 5 of them in a row this week. What's up, Lori? We got another one?
Some of the questions were just, Paul McNeil says, thank you for these live videos. They really help a lot.
Thanks, Paul McNeil, for being a subscriber and coming in and enjoying this, because without you guys watching it, I wouldn't have a job. So I'm glad you enjoy these live shows. You know, and as always, guys, we still do the normal, you know, our normal polished videos. If you want to go see a short 10-minute video on how to put this airplane together, we put that out earlier this week. But it's always fun to come on here and hang out and do it live with you. You know, we show you exactly what it takes to put one together, how easy it is right here in real time. I think a lot of guys really enjoy that, and the camaraderie of the RC community, getting to hang out together. I know you guys message me all the time. Y'all really enjoy it. So it's always my pleasure to come on here and spend an evening with you, or an afternoon, or however we're doing it, and build some airplanes. So, well, guys, if that's it, I'm going to cut this off tonight, go have dinner with the fam, go see Skip a little bit, and have a good time over my vacation for the next few days. I hope everybody really has a good weekend, gets out there and flies airplanes. I'll always be checking on that Motion RC Facebook community. I keep an eye on everybody that's doing their stuff. I've seen a lot of Cougar videos this week, so it's cool to get to see everybody getting them. They are in stock now, so if you've been waiting on the Cougar till it came in stock, they are officially here. You can order your Cougar now. F-16 V2 is officially in stock. You can order this airplane right now. Panther came in this week. And we got a whole bunch of new Nexa wood planes that came into stock. If you haven't been over to the website and checked it out in a little bit, go over there on the balsa section of the website and definitely check out the Nexa line, because there's a few new airplanes in there that you may not have even seen we sneaked in there. So I think there was 10 new models added to the website. So wood airplanes are always coming in. I know a lot of guys always message me and they're like, y'all don't do enough ARFs, they're all foam. Well, no, we do them. It's just not as easy to do one of these videos on every single release, as much as we try. I do as many of the Nexa planes as I can physically do, and still do all the foam planes that everybody wants to see. But I think the last Nexa plane I did was the Bearcat for Jerry, and then we did the Dago Red, which that video did great. So I hope you guys that got to see that one, if you haven't already, the Dago Red flies beautifully. And James did the Twin Otter, which we got another color scheme on the Twin Otter. And I'm trying to remember. Yeah, we did the P40. The P40's back in stock. I think the P47 Touch of Texas came back in stock. They always sell out super fast when we get them, so I'd be surprised if it's still in stock.
It's still in stock.
Oh, good. It is still in stock then. That airplane sells crazy fast out. So if you want one, I would highly recommend getting you a Touch of Texas P47 now while they're still in stock. I love mine. I have one personally. I bought it before I even came to work for Motion RC because I loved it. And I still fly it to this day. We need to get out there and fly it for you guys on video. But yeah, I think that's everything for the night, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Lori says there's no other questions, so we're going to get out of here and go have dinner. My throat just dried out and I'm going to cough. But we'll see you in the next one, guys. Whether it's land, sea, or air, Motion RC has what you want. Bye, guys.